Welcome to the campus of North Idaho College and today's broadcast of the North Idaho College Public Forum. The crew is comprised of North Idaho College television students. Your moderator is North Idaho College political scientist, Tony Stewart.
Today is a very special day for this program in that we are going to celebrate with you the 50th anniversary of North Idaho College. North Idaho College was founded in 1933 on the top floor of the City Hall building in Coeur d'Alene, and it had only 12 students and had 5 graduating students in the first class. Today, the enrollment at North Idaho College on Lake Coeur d'Alene is 2,522 students. During these 50 years, you can certainly see that there has been a very significant growth and a very meaningful role for higher education in Coeur d'Alene and the Northwest area. Our guests, and we have 3 of them, are going to talk with you for the next 30 minutes about North Idaho College from 1933 to 1983 and let you know what's happened to this very fine institution. Our first guest on this program of the 3 is Mr. Barry Schuler, who is the president of North Idaho College. He has served in that capacity since 1968. In fact, he's in his 16th year and is actually the senior president of the higher education in Idaho of all the colleges and universities. And he will discuss particularly the role that each president's had since 1933. President Schuler, as always, it's very much a pleasure for me to welcome you to our program.
Thank you, Tony. It's good to be here on this special occasion.
And I'm happy to welcome our regular panelist, the one that's been with me the longest in this program, to help us celebrate our 50 years, Mary Lou Reed, and she shall commence the questioning.
Thank you, Tony. President Schuler, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the beginnings of NIC back there in 1933? What kind of an education did the students get?
Well, Coeur d'Alene Junior College, as it was called in its very earliest years, had a very colorful history, and as you can imagine, starting in 1933, it was in the very toughest of times economically for this region and for the nation. Therefore, you could expect that it was nip and tuck for the first few years as to whether or not it was going to continue to be an institution of higher education serving this area. The first president and the founder was M.A. Breakmeyer, and he was the one that did a very fine job of selling the idea of a community college, of a junior college, to provide the opportunity and access to the students of this area who in those days, for economic reasons and for geographic reasons, would have found it impossible to start their college education.
Was it his idea in the first place? Was he the one who organized the college?
Apparently it was, that this was his vision, this was his idea, and he sold it to the community. He did enlist ready support from particularly a lot of the ladies in the community who saw this as a really an important need for the young people, and they went door to door and from business to business gathering money to pay the teachers and to buy the books and to start the new college.
So it was really quite a cause.
It was a very vital cause to them, and they did a fine job because what they started is still going strong today.
Well, how much did it cost to attend Coeur d'Alene Junior College? Do you have any idea?
I believe it was something like $50 a year tuition.
And what kind of courses were they offering? It had to be very limited if there were that many students and that few teachers.
I know that they had, of course, the basics, English, psychology. They had some business courses from the outset, and typing, in business courses of that kind, mathematics. They even had orchestra and music in those earliest years. They called on the high school band director, R.J. Feringer, to be the band director. So they put together a faculty that provided more variety than one might expect in those earliest years.
Were junior colleges an unusual thing at that time, or was that something that was pretty well established as an idea?
That was the amazing thing about this. That was the very earliest years of the community college or the junior college concept. The first junior college in the world, I believe, was in Joliet, Illinois, founded in 1901. But of course, not many had been gotten underway in those years between 1901 and 1933. So North Idaho College is one of the oldest, is one of the really pioneer institutions or junior colleges west of the Mississippi.
We have such a short period of time, and I think this is so interesting what's happened, and I know there are other presidents prior to your taking the helm in 1968. Could you go through some of those and what were some of the major features or things that were left behind from their administration?
Well, following President Breakmeyer, there was an interim year, 35 to 36, when a Dean, Lester Dalton, acted as the president just for that 1 year. He just sort of kept the institution together. Then, in 1936, Orrin Lee became the president. He was a young graduate student out at the University of Idaho. He was called upon to come up here and carry on the college, the struggling institution, which he did. And his major contribution was that he brought them that private junior college funded with just private donations and solicitations. He brought that into a junior college district. He helped get the state law or state legislation passed that made junior college districts possible, and then brought North Idaho College, or then called North Idaho Junior College, into its legal existence. Then he was succeeded during the Second World War. He went off to the service, and he was succeeded by G.O. Kildaw, who then was the president of the institution from 1944 to 1962. President Kildaw was responsible for building the old main building on our campus, if you will, which houses the classrooms, the administration, the library, and the gymnasium. So he made that major contribution in getting that bond issue passed to get that done. He also was a president of the National Association of Junior Colleges,
very significant,
which is quite significant.
Yes, and the next president after that?
Then following President Kildaw was Perry Christensen, who is my immediate predecessor, and he served from 1962 to 1968.
And what was his main contribution?
He basically, in those years, stabilized the college, carried on the college, and brought it along so that it established its fine reputation for academic transfer and that sort of thing, and started developing the vocational aspects of the college.
And some of us are privy to the information. We've been here most of the time that you have, and we're very proud of what's happened from 1968 to 1983, and although it's been your administration, we still want to ask you to let our viewers know what has happened. It's been tremendous growth in facilities and enrollment and curriculum. Could you give us some summary of that?
Well, I'll try to be objective, but we, since 1968, have added 3 major buildings: Communication Arts, the Science Building, the Cider Hall of Science, and the Headland Vocational Center. Those 3 major buildings, plus 10 smaller buildings or additions. So the facility, the physical plant, really increased substantially. Also in that time, our population, our student enrollment more than doubled. Went up about 2.5 times in that period of time. One of the big areas of growth, of course, was the adult extension and continuing education courses. There were just very few when I arrived, and that has become obviously a much more sizable part of what we do at the community college, and that's true here at North Idaho College.
I think we should give them some statistics. I'm very impressed with them. Could you tell us what kind of dollars we're talking about in buildings and the very figures on enrollment during this period of time?
Well, at the present time, our total budget has now reached something over $8 million for the operating budget of the college. In addition to that, then we have over $1 million in the auxiliary services budget. That would have been a sizable increase, of course, over the budget as it was when I arrived, and I'm not quite sure of that figure. I do know, that, of course, that the original budget in the very first years was something like $2,000 or $3,000.
And the price of the buildings that have been constructed since you've been here is several $1 million, isn't it?
Well, yeah, so it would be between $10, $12 million if you cover all the construction that has taken place.
And finally, with the time running out, we've really received some national honors during your administration. Could you briefly tell us some of the things that we've received national attention for during this time?
Well, we've done very well. We had a national debate championship. We had I think it's 4 national collegiate NJCAA wrestling championships. That means that we were the national team champions. We've done very well in some of the vocational areas, in the troubleshooting contests, which they don't have anymore, but we did at that time win several significant honors in that area. Our choir and our orchestra and band have received rather wide recognition for excellence in their performances throughout the region. So these things have all happened. And
very special attention has been given to the nursing program too. I understand that their scores are very much above the average in the state and on a national average.
Yes, the important thing about that is fully accredited by the National League for Nursing, but you're quite right. They have an outstanding record of having 100% passing of the national and state licensure examinations over the past 9 years, I believe.
President Schuler, thank you so much for being part of this celebration, and I want to say on behalf of the faculty and staff, and I'm sure I can speak for them, you deserve so much credit, and we congratulate you and also thank you for the contributions you've given North Idaho College, and we look forward to your future years of service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lou, for your question.
Thank you.